Hey everybody, Michelle here, and so I've had this idea for a stitch rolling around in my head for a while now, and I finally had the opportunity to kind of bring it to fruition. And I've checked a lot of the loom stitches that are out there right now, and I really didn't see anything like this. People will probably say it's similar to the mock crochet stitch, but it's not. It's not like a figure eight either, and I am actually calling this the diamond knot stitch because if you look, it looks like diamonds, and I'm not even stretching it out. As you can see, I mean, I'm barely holding it, and I'm holding it up so you guys can see. So it looks like diamonds, and then there's knots on the corners and all around. So I'm just going to call it the diamond knot stitch. So as you can see, it would be really great for a spring or summer shawl, even a light blanket, something to keep maybe in the car, anything like that. It is super easy to do. I started working on this little bit of a scarf, and I'm actually using Scarfy brand, or excuse me, Lion brand Scarfy on for this particular one that I'm working on. Super soft, absolutely love it. What you're going to need for this is just a standard large gauge loom, like one of the Nifty Knitter ones or the Looping threads, something like that. So pretty large, and to achieve the airiness of this, as you can see with all the holes, you really want to stay with like a 4 worsted weight or even a 5 bulky. This one that I'm using, this Scarfy, is a 5. So that way it gives airiness. If you want it a little bit thicker, you can even do it on a zippy loom with a 6. That'll work up into a blanket really quick for you. So as you can see, I have this one underway right now. And I'm going to show you how simple it is. So with your cast on, you can use any cast on that you prefer. For me, I like the crochet cast on. And always go with an even number of pegs. So on this particular one, I'm doing 18. So from my first, I count around to 18. And your first and your last will always be a slip stitch. So you don't do any purl, you don't do anything but a slip stitch, which is where I'll show you, you go behind, you bring it around front, and then you proceed. So as if this was just cast on, we're going to start. Again, your first one is always a slip stitch. So you always are going to start from your second peg, or as you'll see, your third peg. So for me, what I found is really easy is like a tick mark sheet. So that way I know which direction I'm going, whether I'm going yarn over left or yarn over right. And in the written pattern, you'll see all that, which is included. There's a link that's included for the written pattern. So let's get started. The very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to work clockwise. All right, and it's a lot easier this way based on the pattern that I wrote up for everybody. And another trick that I found is anytime you yarn over, sometimes it could be a pain in the butt having to grab that peg yarn and move it over. I found a way to make it a whole lot easier. I use 2 knitting tools. So if this is easy for you, as it is with me, feel free. So the direction that I'm going first is I'm going to do yarn over left first, all the way to the very end. And that's the great thing about this, is you can do all your yarn overs first, and then we'll proceed from there. So what I like to do is I'm going yarn over left. I'm grabbing this. Now remember, your first one, you're only doing a slip stitch. So when I say your first peg, that's number 2. Okay. And what I do is I grab it and pull it over. Whoop. And I'm working kind of odd because usually this is on my lap while I'm doing it. Okay, and then you can tighten that up a little bit. There you go. And as you can see, the number 2 peg, which I refer to as my first peg, is empty. Now, there's 2 on this one. Every other one, you're going to grab and move over one to the left. All right, so now I'm going to grab this one. And I'm going over. And again, now it's empty. So continue like that until you get all the way to the end, and then I'll meet you back here. Okay, so as you can see, Every other peg is either empty or has 2 all the way around. And again, I'm just showing you this as the stitch. You can use this for any type of pattern that you want, whether it's for a scarf like I'm doing right now, or as a shawl. The desired length is up to you. How wide you want to do it, how long you want to do it, that's up to you. Okay, so now what you're going to do, your working yarn is back here at the start peg, and I've already slip stitched that one. So slip stitch is where you come around the back and you would just knit it over, but because I've already done that, I don't want to do that right now. So this part, like I said, this is really easy once you get the hang of it. The hardest thing to remember is just what direction you're going, whether you're yarning over left or yarning over right. That's why I keep my little tick pad over here, so that way I remember what direction I'm going in. So for the ones that are empty, you're really not doing anything with them other than bringing the yarn in front. And then you're going to double purl. So you're going to purl both of those loops that are there and bring it over. Again, in front of the blank one, the empty one. And then purl the ones that have 2 loops on it. Okay? And you just go all the way across. Again, I'm sorry if this looks kind of wonky for you. I'm trying to do this with the camera between my arms and looking through and doing it. And you're just going to keep doing that and purl all the way. There we go. Couple more and then I'll be done. And one more. And remember, your first and last pegs, you're just going to slip stitch. So your slip stitch is where you come behind, you bring it around the front, and you knit it up. Okay? Now, for working way back, it's super easy. All you're going to do is E-wrap all the way back to the beginning peg. Super, super easy. And again, like I said, this was something that I, kind of had an idea rolling around in my head because I wanted to be able to make an airy scarf for people to wear in spring or even summer if you're out on a summer evening and you want to wear a light scarf. Here where I live in Washington, we have some chilly evenings sometimes, even in the summertime. So, it's always nice to have. You're just going to E-wrap all the way to the beginning. And again, however many pegs you want is yours. This is basically just showing you the pattern. So slip stitch, which is basically an E-wrap on this one, and you're back to the beginning. Okay, what I do is just take that and put it there. So now we just did the yarn over left. Now we're going to do the yarn over right. And it's basically like what we just did, except we're going to take, starting at peg 3, we're going to move that to 2. We're going to move 5 to 4 and all the way around. So instead of going yarn over left, we're now going yarn over right. So my little dual tool, as I like to call it. And again, this makes it a whole lot easier for me personally. I mean, if you're cool with picking it up and moving it over by hand, that's okay. Normally I don't work this slow with it, but it's just how I'm positioned with the camera and my arms. It's a little wonky. So you're basically going to do this just like we did the others and work all the way to the end and then meet me back here. Alright, so as you can see, again, there's going to be pegs that are empty and pegs that have 2 loops on. So we're just going to do the same thing. This one's already slip stitched. We're going to start with the first one and you're just going to purl it. And there's going to be 2 loops on the ones that you're purling. The ones that are empty, you're just going to yarn right across the front of it and go to the next one. And purl it until you get all the way to the end. And then you're going to E-wrap back to the beginning. So I'll meet you back there once we get to the end of purling. All right, so as you can see, we're done purling all the way around, and we're at the last one. And again, we yarn across the front, slip stitch, meaning bring it around the back, come around forward, and then knit it off. And then we're just going to E-wrap all the way back to the beginning. And that's it. It's that simple. So row 1 is basically where you yarn over 1 to the left. You'll have empty pegs, and then you'll have the pegs that have 2. And then once those are yarned over, then you're going to purl all the way over to the left. And then once you have that all done, you come back just simply by E-wrapping like I'm doing here. And that is your diamond knot stitch. So let me get all the way back to the first one. And do my slip stitch. There we go. Alright, and then I would just start again. Yarn over left, go all the way around, and then come back, and then yarn over right, all the way around, and then come back. And it's really that simple. And when you do that, again, you're going to come up with this really pretty, let me see if I can hold it a little closer so you can see. It looks like little diamonds. And very airy, very light. You can even do this with a number 3 fingerling yarn if you want something really light, like a really nice light summer shawl, or you could do something a little bit heavier. But there you go, it's that simple. So I'm also going to have the written pattern for this available for you guys as well. And feel free, as always, if you have any questions, drop me an email. My email address is in the information part of the video, as well as at the end in the credits. And that's it. So happy looming, guys. Feel free to share anything that you make with these. I would love to see them. Take care. Bye.